Welcome, everybody.
Hey.
This is the pilot episode of Tamer Talk, where me, Jesse, and my buddy Jeff are going to talk everything Digimon TCG related. Going to have our finger on the pulse weekly and get you updated on everything that comes up with Digimon. So we got a few things to talk about. We had locals last night. How'd you do?
You know, I did not do as well as I was hoping.
I feel you. I did as well, or I did not as well.
Yes. So who won it all? That's the question, right? That was Imperial Dramon.
Yeah.
The starter deck one where it splits. It's such a great Imperial, I know, but I think what makes that deck so strong is the security options of Megadeth.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't think of that as a defensive deck at all.
Yeah.
But it just fits in so naturally.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. I mean, we haven't seen Imperial in, man, how long? How long has it been since we saw Imperial? It's been probably since Jacob played it, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, and his Imperial list, of course, is a little bit different. Instead of doing the starter deck one where it splits, right? He's got the one where, just super fun way to swing a bunch of times with the same stack. But speaking of Jacob, second place. Let's talk about that. Yep. This might be really exciting, guys, and we hope you stay tuned to the channel because we're actually going to get this deck profile posted.
Yeah.
What did we have? Take second.
Lilith Loop.
Did you hear that, guys? Lilith Loop. Our brainchild, Jacob here, he's in the studio with us right now, has constructed a wonderful new Lilith Loop deck for those that are really craving to play the purple Lilith Loop. I know it's such a fun way to play purple, and we'll have that coming out soon.
Yeah, it was good stuff, man. It was an interesting local. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit afterwards, where I think we've kind of found this weird. We finally hit that point in the meta where it's like people are moving away from all the Alphamons, all the War Gray X's, and people are playing for fun. They're playing the decks they're passionate about. They're updating them with new cards. I mean, that's kind of where we live all the time.
Yeah.
Even when new sets come out, like that's kind of our MO. It's like, we're just going to play what we like. If it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's like, it feels like for the first like 3 or 4 weeks of every meta, we're playing against like those hardcore meta decks. And then all of a sudden we hit this nice like 3 or 4 week curve.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden people are just like, okay, I'm done playing these really try hard decks. I want to play something that's fun. Let me see what I can put from the new set into my older deck and kind of revive it. And I think that we saw a ton of that yesterday.
And that's the strength of having, such long windows between sets, and I hope Bandai either continues to give us, maybe not as long as this window is between, BT9, BT10. But when you just have back-to-back sets, I know things are getting messed up with shipping delays and production, etc. But it's so nice to be in this window and you can just show up and play what you want to play, or let people play their favorites.
Yeah, let people explore the meta, feel it out a little bit, play the sets, find cards that they didn't think would work before. And I think that that's probably one of the things about Digimon that really keeps me into this game is the lack of rotation. They don't all those BT1 cards. Like, I finally constantly find myself just having a couple beers at night, grabbing my old binders, flipping through BT1, BT2, BT3. Like, what was it? What did this card do again? Especially like the old options that are like, that had really weird restrictions before.
Absolutely.
And you're like, that would never be a good card. And you're like, oh, well, Tactical Retreat is now a very good card. It's just like, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with a lot of older stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun with this meta, and it's really fun to go to the shop. And we had 16 people last night.
16
That was fun.
Great
that was
turnout
on a Wednesday.
That's what we're looking for. If you guys are interested, we're in the Vancouver, Washington area. We love getting as many people as we can. Come to our locals. We're trying to grow it more and more.
Yeah. Just right across the river from Portland.
Yep.
Like, not even deep into Vancouver.
Super easy.
Right. So if you're in the Portland metro area, come check us out. We do it every Wednesday and every Friday. So it's a lot of fun.
So speaking of our locals, you know what card terrorized locals?
What, DeathX?
DeathX, that level 7.
Yeah. Terrorize me.
I know it's shameless plug here, but I was playing Red DeathX Turbo. For those of you who are curious, deck profile is going to be on the channel here very soon. You kind of go talking about those old cards you were talking about, right? It takes that same idea of back in 1.0. Turbo as fast as you can, Omnimon.
Yeah.
This time, Turbo as fast as you can into DeathX really disrupted the meta, and it wasn't just me who played DeathX.
No, it was literally everybody. Not literally, but pretty damn close.
I think out of 16, maybe 12 decks had a DeathX, at least one. At least one DeathX in their deck. So I'm curious what your thoughts are, if they're going to restrict it or do they need to keep it so that way we have a Shoutmon counter next to it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it's still there. I mean, it didn't make a huge splash in Japan from what I remember.
Yeah, it really
but
didn't.
Man, it is hitting the US hard. It's hard to find a deck list without one or two in it. I mean, it is just one of those cards. It's just like in case of emergency break glass kind of card.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's a level 7 that when you draw it in your hand, it's not a dead card.
No.
Which is crazy. Like usually you're like, oh, this is gonna take me a while to get into, but it's just like it's like what if, you know?
We've talked about this a bunch of times, you know, back when you would want to play Zwart Defeat in your deck as your level 7, right? What is the right number to play? Sometimes I lean towards 4, but it always floods your hand, right? Yeah. DeathX doesn't have that problem necessarily where it does flood your hand.
Yeah.
Right? You can hard play it for super cheap. Last night I played it for 2.
Yeah.
And that was my second DeathX on the field.
Yeah.
Right?
It wrecked me last night, but I was playing a deck list that I'll get into once I think it'll be good once the changes I made affect it, but we'll see what happens. But I had a lot of fun. I played my security Digimon deck.
It's a good one, guys.
It is fun. It is fun. I updated it.
Yeah.
It sounds weird. It sounds terrible, but it definitely had that. Good. It definitely had that oh shit factor.
It
people
does,
hit it because they're like, what is this deck? They think security control, and then it's not the same kind.
Yep.
So it was a lot of fun just to watch people's eyes go wide. It
was great. Third place was Black War Gray for anyone who wants to know. And special shout out to my wife. I got her to come back to the shop for the first time in a little bit. She was playing that Ordain Lord Knight deck that is on our channel.
If
you guys are curious on that, definitely check it out.
Uploaded it yesterday.
She loves that deck, and she I think tied for 4th.
I think
if I remember right. So she's super well. She's not as much in the game as you and I, but like she was able to do really, really well with that. And
she piloted that thing like a pro.
And it was watching your guys' matchup that really got me thinking about the way your deck plays. Right. If you don't know how to play against security Digimon, when they, when to hold back attacking until you have that lethal, that's almost a Digimon level skill that you only get by playing a bunch.
Absolutely.
Right. That's something that you just have to experience on its own. So
for sure. I mean, moving right along, there's so much talk about considering this is the first episode because we're kind of smack in the middle of the BT11 reveal. So we kind of had the discussion beforehand, like how far back in these reveals do we really want to go? So we're going to kind of this segment, we're going to cover the heavy hitters. And then next week, we'll be able to kind of give you whatever happened between this week and next week. So, but just moving right along, I guess we can start with...
You know what I want to start with?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tyrannos.
Yeah.
I love Tyrannos, guys. So, you guys haven't seen that Headlong Rush option. That card, oh my gosh, looks great. It ends up being a 3 cost if you have the a green Tamer on play.
Yep.
Right? You can give Rush to somebody. You get plus extra DP. Such a great way to play Tyrannos. And I don't know if anyone's seen my deck list post around, but I play a red Tyranno list.
Yeah.
Where I play no 6s.
None.
I go up to the 5s. I swing with 4s. It's just, Tyrannomon aggro. Great way to play it. And I've been trying to do green Tyrannos for so long. So now I finally am going to be able to do it. And because the old Rust Tyranno is not good.
It's not good.
I've tried it so many times, guys. I promise you, I have everything I could try for Rust Tyranno has been tried. This new Tyranno is everything the old one does, but better. You don't no longer have to force yourself to play Dimension Scissor. Try to fit the room for that. You get to reduce the cheap evolution cost, right? And we get the new Taiga. That's really nice. So great stuff for the Tyrannos.
Are you still going to run the old Taiga?
That's such a great question, right?
Because it's getting an alt art too, I believe.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. I'm gonna have to test it for sure.
Yeah.
For now, I think no.
Well, that's kind of what I feel about piercing. Is it's like it has become such kind of an off-branded effect where it's just like a lot of people shy away from it. I took the piercing cyborg out of my Machine Dramon because it's just like it.
Sometimes piercing can mess you up.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Sometimes, you don't want to. Sometimes when you swing into something, you don't want to hit their security. You don't want to reveal that option. You don't want to hit a security Digimon like we were just talking about, right? Or you don't want to give them another Tamer that helps them set their combo when you're piercing.
Yeah.
You just want to control their board. So, but since we're talking about your Machine Dramons, and we were just talking about Tyrannos, I got to know, with the new Metal Tyranno level 5 coming out, because it is half black, which means it counts.
Yep.
How many are you going to play, and are you going to play in your Machine Dramon?
It's 100% going to be a one of.
Okay.
I'm going back and forth. I'm going to have to play test it and figure out if I want to do the 2 of, because it is so good. When you pair it with that Metal Greymon that lets me kill anything I want, I mean, that's a free
That's
check.
a better
That's
piercing.
not even a pierce. That's a free
Yep.
check. That is
Yep.
not going to pull out a Tamer. It's not going to hit an option. It's not going to do
It's going to trash them even better.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely a one of, and I've already been kind of looking at what I'm going to take out to put in there, but it might be a two of.
Yeah.
It is really good.
Guess you guys just have to stay tuned to the channel and find out updated Machine Dramon decks.
Oh, I'm going to update Machine Dramon every format because it does get help every format except for BT11. This is the only one that comes out where I, aside from the starter decks, I'll get a little bit of love in the starter decks.
Yes.
The Skosh, I got some spice
new
coming
Volcano.
up for that.
Yep.
And then we'll get into my new level 7 in a later video.
Oh, new
coming.
level 7. Okay.
And, but yeah, no. And then, we do have the reveals if we're talking BT11. Yeah, there's another Machine Dramon.
Yeah, what do you think of it, Jesse?
I hate it.
I love this conversation.
It is not my jam. I think it is so situational, and I'm not a huge fan of that Tamer either. It's so expensive for 4. I mean, I think they're trying to kind of rework the way that you can build Machine Dramon if you want to.
Yeah.
It seems with this Machine Dramon, this is going to be like a Hagurumon, Gardramon, go into like a Metal Greymon, get that
like building
build a stack of Machine Dramon, and then maybe tech in like 1 or 2 of the EX ones just so you can proc that on deletion.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that on deletion only procs if you have the analog Tamer out, right?
Believe so.
Yeah. So it's
analog
very, very situational because it's like I found a lot of those on deletion things. It's kind of like a Millenniumon or something, right?
Yeah.
Where you have it out, or an Ordinemon, or even like going back to Cherubies. It's like when you have something with that lethal of an on deletion out, it's like people are just going to avoid it.
Yeah.
Or they're going to Mega Death it, or they're going to do something to just get rid of it, or just avoid it entirely and let you get your 1 or 2 swings, and then they'll work around it. I feel like trying to build a whole deck around it, and it's only a rare. It's not. I don't think it's that good. I don't
think so either. I'm with you on that one.
I think that it's so much fun, especially with the introduction of that new Castermon that we're going to get that plays like the EX1 Machine Dramon. I think that's going to be a much funner way to play this deck. But we're gonna see the stacking version.
We'll test it.
We'll see the stacking version. We'll test everything. I mean, I'll test everything machine all day long. But I'm not super impressed with it. I do like the fact that we're getting more cyborgs. We're getting more options. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. But definitely the Tyrannomon is going in the deck because that thing is amazing.
Good. And it's part of the lore, if that matters to you.
I mean, it's a good secondary,
Yeah.
Moving right along, we have some Tamer announcements for the new set, too.
We do.
I mean, I was blown away a couple days ago by the reveal of the first 5-cost Tamer.
Yeah.
I was like,
broken.
5-cost Tamer. Okay. I mean, because you're going to start to hit these levels where it's like these Tamers are so powerful.
Yep.
I mean, they're expensive, but they also still play out of your trash for free.
Yeah.
I mean... So what does that one do again? That one is like, I know it starts your turn, you net one
you
memory.
Just gain 1 memory.
Either
with
way.
No condition. I think this is our first time having a Tamer like this. I mean, Jacob and I were just talking about in the car right over here how good that Tamer, that +1 memory. Like, there's so many ways I build decks to try to get an extra memory here and there. That just comes like naturally like that, right?
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's going to be good right out of the gate.
And it's also great too because it lets you play another body, and not only just like level 4, level 3, whatever. It lets you play level 5. It lets you play all the 5s that it can target, the Angelomon and the Lady Devi.
Yep.
Right, those are all key components. To purple yellow as is, right? It's not like you're gonna like, okay, I got this Tamer, now I need to change my 5s to play things more in line with what this Tamer does. No, you're already got your deck. Like all you do is just gonna put that Tamer in. Or
you know what I'm excited for?
Huh?
Do you think that Tamer will help me bring back Anubismon or Creepymon? We're turboing into purple level 5s again, and that gets me excited. Because I like to play those purple zoo decks.
Yeah.
I really do want to find a way to play a Creepymon, and I really want to find a way to play Anubismon. I love that. I love their effects.
Yeah. Well, I know with this Tamer being played, the rise of Black War Gray will continue even stronger. Black War Gray to be able to delete the Myri.
Right, yeah.
Right. And all the new Black War Gray stuff that we got.
All
of the X antibody stuff. Yeah.
How strong can we possibly make that guy?
Well, it's great because now, if you guys have seen our channel, or I don't know if it's uploaded quite yet, but I have a couple Gao decks that I've been putting together where I just use that as my main level 6. Well, now, instead of playing Black War Gray with that Galmon, right? Now we're playing Black War Gray with Black War Gray X Antibody.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that alternate artwork, or once we see it, right? We haven't seen it yet. So hopefully it gets revealed soon, right? I'm definitely excited for it. It's going to look amazing. But it's two separate decks.
Yeah.
You're no longer going to use that Galmon.
Nope.
You're going to use Black War Gray. That's going to be a relevant card. Reason why the price is just shot through the roof. And we'll talk a little bit more of that here in our next segment. But just that Black War Gray X, it's a super strong deck.
Yeah.
It's crazy. War Gray X won't even be able to compete, I don't think, with it because now you're going to have 3 separate Greymons that can almost all interchange and go on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all the support coming out, man, I think the funny thing for me is I'm trying to look ahead at kind of what's coming out and then looking at the support for it now.
Yep.
And it's I think these X record boxes are going to be $80 boxes for a very long time because people are going to need to buy them just to get that option.
Yep.
It's not like they're going to reprint it unless you've seen something I haven't seen.
No, or even the pre-release versions for those in the US
going through the roof. Yeah.
Because that was one of the ones we were talking about at our pre-release. Hopefully we can get these so we can, not have to buy them later on because of how good, I think it was a $30 card when the set came out. I don't think it's dropped. I'll have to double check.
It's still chilling around there. It's still, because it's one of those ones that's an uncommon, so it hits that sweet spot, right? Where if you want to get it foiled, you have to get the pre-release.
And this is nothing against people that get rares with the pre-release stamp on it. I understand, in my Raidenmon deck profile video, I was talked into getting the Raidenmons for that, but I think that's a little different.
It's a little,
but those that are like us, the way we like to build our decks, where we want the shiny version.
We love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Max rarity.
BT11 is going to do that.
Yeah.
Without the pre-release stamp.
Yeah.
Such an interesting way the market's going to be with that, right?
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it. That's going to.
We'll have to see more details.
As someone that collects 1 or 2 of every card, it is
so
going to be frustrating to
one more binder on the shelf or rearrange all the cards again.
Everything's going to have a common and an uncommon. It's going to be just a nightmare, but that's okay. And then for our other Tamer reveal, we already got the first 5 costs, and in the same set, they're going to give us our first secret rare Tamer. I am blown away by that. I still think the Myri is a more of a game-changing Tamer. Yeah.
but
I was really surprised by if you're going to give us a secret rare Tamer, that's the one, huh?
Yeah, that's the one. I guess it makes sense, and I almost should have seen this coming, especially with, Taiga and Rina being so associated. They're always in the same games or whatever like that. Except for Cyber Sleuth, or excuse me, not Cyber Sleuth, Digimon Next Order. Next Order, right? If you played that, Rina's in there, but not Taiga, right? But, in all the other games where you either have Rina and Taiga, I should have seen this Rina coming. But when we started seeing all the blue cards being revealed with the Galgamon stuff, the Mirage Galgamon, and, with that new Tamer whose name I'm forgetting off the top of my head, I didn't think we were going to get any Rina. I didn't think we were going to get any All-Force.
I didn't either.
It just completely surprised me. So it's I think it's a pleasant surprise.
I think so too. I think somewhere back,
the market's going crazy for all of those, the V-Tamer tie, even some of the zero cards that nobody wanted before.
All the pre-release cards,
they're up
stuff?
from 10 cents to $3. And I think All Force is getting a price jump too. The Altar was already really nice.
Yeah,
the one that's the gold stamped, right? And still, it wasn't a horrible card, but it was more of a gimmick deck. So the fact that Vmon's getting more support, Vidramon line is getting more support.
Yeah, I think a big part of that too is it just maybe. I don't sit on the board at Bandai, but I think that when they're making these last couple sets, they're like, okay, people hate blue hybrids. So what's good in blue, or what was good in blue, like in BT 1 or 2, where we can, let's bring it. What can we bring back? To be like Tommy who, so I think that the All Force support is going to be a fun aspect. It's like what blue does, right? Swing.
I do like what the deck does, but I think that's more of a fan favorite deck than what's going to be the strongest deck. Again, Black War Gray is just going to kill off so many of those Tamers that it looks like that the deck relies on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the on deletion of the red bird stuff, which I'm very excited for. We don't need to talk about it that long, I promise. But where you get to play Tamers with deletion effects, or have a way to have a lot of good on deletion effects. I hate to say it, but I might say the birds is going to be better than All Force, but we'll see in testing.
We'll see.
There depends on what support comes out.
Yeah, we still have one secret rare, at least one secret rare to see.
We do.
We don't know what that's
Is it going to be another Tamer? Are they going to give us 2 secret Tamers?
Give me another Sonata. Give me a Errata Sonata secret.
But there's no other Diaboro stuff.
I know.
I guess we haven't seen a whole lot of the black stuff because we've only seen the yellow black and the Sukamon poop control, I think is what people are calling it.
Poop control. Yeah.
That's going to be great. And then the black as far as the black red of the Greymon stuff.
Yes.
So we don't know.
I don't know if there's enough room to add in support.
I don't think so either.
Because typically what happens is you get at least, I mean, you're going to get your Karamons, your Kurisarimons.
Yep.
You'll get an Infernmon. Like, it's very by the book when it comes to Diaboro support. Like, you're going to get those boys.
Yep.
And the fact that we haven't seen anything like that, I don't know if there's enough room to add all those cards. And there's always at least one Diaboro on the artwork option.
Right.
So I think there's room to add a Diaboro.
We'll see. Yeah, why not?
I mean, if they do kind of what they did with EOS, where they're just like, here's another level 6. And not add any other support. Like, they could do that.
So are we going to get any more white Digimon in this set?
Because with the alt arts too, for Event Pack 3, we're getting all of the Tournament Pack Diaboro reprints with new arts. That being said, I mean, I love Diaboromon. We can get into a deck profile for that later once it's good again.
Once it comes back.
Once it actually works. But
I'm
it's
sure you'll
like,
think it's something.
they reprinted the worst 2 cards in that entire deck.
Yeah, those event pack reveals are really interesting. You know, I don't know if it's a thing that Bandai, you know, just because the way their factories are or way production is. I know, you know, maybe things are still slowed down with whatever mess is going on overseas and backlogs of just stuff in general. If they're just like really slow to the punch with their alternate arts for the event pack reveals. Like, I know I'm really excited for me, right? Because, you know, I didn't get any of that stuff with Purple Cherubi. And I love the purple hybrids. That's such a fun deck for me. It's always going to be one of my favorites. And so I'm really excited for those. Yeah. You know?
But I feel like everything else is like too little too late.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly. I mean, like
especially with the new Hercules Cabatarimon coming out. Yeah. Are people really going to go back and play the Beetlemon stuff with all the new Beetlemon alt arts?
You know, you're going to have those that, you know, like, I know I'm notorious for this, where I like to keep decks intact. Yeah. And I always, like, when a new alt art comes out, I always go back and add it in. So, you know, I almost have like a history of decks or whatever, but I don't know. That's a great question. So
yeah, good question for our green players.
Yeah.
So feel free to chime in the comments too, if you guys have like some opinions on a lot of the stuff. Cause we don't play every color all the time with every format, with every big boss, but
it's hard.
It's hard, but man, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming out. I mean, and then it's been really fun to watch kind of like what's been spiking on TCG Player with these reveals. Like that's the other half of these reveals that's really fun to watch.
What comes with it, like what are people buying?
Yeah.
It's so funny how quickly people buy things out.
Yeah. They're just straight out.
It's like, you know, BT11, we're not getting for what, 6 months, 5 months, whatever. Right?
We're not going to get it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. So it's like, it'll be next year for us, you know, the calendar year 2023, and people are already buying all their Ulfor stuff, or people are buying all the Taigas. Remember, like Taiga, which, by the way, if I were you, don't buy your Taigas yet. Just wait.
Yeah.
Wait till people start testing that deck and they realize the new Taiga's better, or the Taiga just doesn't really have as much room as you thought the deck was going to have.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're getting a full art Taiga in that retro Tamer.
I don't remember seeing that. I'll take your word for it, but I'm not sure on
There's
that.
There's definitely a green in there. And I don't know what else the green would be.
I don't know either.
Because it definitely wouldn't be the Izzy.
No, it's the Izzy from the starter deck.
Is it?
I think it's, the Izzy from the starter deck. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think Taiga's in there too, because we get the Davis and we get
the Davis, another Izzy, the black version.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't the green Izzy then.
I think it's in there.
We'll have to look that
up. We'll look it up. I mean, or let us know in the comments.
Next week.
Post a link. Prove one of us wrong.
Yes. Let us know what those alt arts are.
But speaking of cards that are just blowing through the roof, I mean, all they have to do is release any kind of hint of a new Machine Dramon, and the EX1 Machine Dramon just skyrocketed.
Absolutely.
To almost $70 right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
And it was down to like 26, 27.
Yeah.
But to that end, I mean, it kind of makes sense because we did open a case.
We opened
in the last couple weeks
of EX1, and
because you got it on a steal for like $450 from TCG.
So TCG Player was like, we ended up trying to shoot a video for this, and it was our first video attempt, and a lot of life lessons there. I guess you can't complain about that, but
we're getting better.
We're getting much better.
Yeah.
And we pulled 6 Machine Dramons out of a case, 6 regular art Machine Dramons, no alt arts.
Yep.
So there's a reason why that case is cheap. especially compared to other sets.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you know, besides the obvious, not a lot of cards, not a lot of alt arts that people are using, you know, and, you know, especially like the fact there's no eggs, right? Like, you're not like hunting in that set for 4 Upamons like you were in 1.0, right? So, don't necessarily recommend buying a case unless you're really into that. But we did get 6 Machine Dramons opening a case, and, you know, we didn't recuperate our value. We got close with all of our polls.
We ended up at like 360,
360, yeah,
like that.
Maybe like $90 shy of breaking even. But
only one altered analog youth too. So it's like these things are going up in value for a reason, because they're just hard to pull out of a set that people don't really want to buy. So it's a shame if you're trying to get Machine Dramon alt arts right now. But I mean, there is a gold version coming out.
There is.
I don't know. So they haven't really talked about what that actual rarity is going to be. And I feel like they kind of did that before too with the Ghost Omni. They're just like, it's really hard to get. And that's all they told us. And they didn't really tell us how hard it's going to be to get.
I think Bandai has a lot of challenges as a history of the company translating and coming into the English market.
100%.
Right? You know, Pokemon has had that success from the beginning.
Yeah.
Of, hey, you know, like we're translating ourselves. We're going to be consistent in our translations.
Yeah.
You know, like we're going to release all of the games that you get in Japan, basically you get in the US. I think, you know, obviously Pokemon, I think had 1 or 2.
Well, because, I mean, when you look at Pokemon, it's owned by freaking Nintendo.
Yeah.
So it's like Nintendo has a lot of experience in the US market, whereas Bandai, I think, is like they dabble over here, but they're like, oh, cool, like you guys get Dragon Ball and you guys get this cool stuff. Like we're gonna translate our shows, or at least, you know, dub them, and we're gonna get the revenue from the US.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually having reps here that know, you know, have their finger on the pulse of like what people want over here, I think that they're struggling a little bit, and we found that too. With you know, obviously TCG Plus, we could do a whole podcast on how terrible that is. It's getting a little bit better, but it's like being so close with our shop owner, Thomas of Wayward City Games. He has had so many issues trying to get any kind of tech support from them, trying to get any kind of, and when he's on these Zoom calls, it's him and like 120 other shop owners on these Zoom calls with the heads of Bandai trying to figure out, how do you use this? Why'd you roll it out so early? You know, like I think we had.
I mean, what is Bandai supposed to do? Nothing, and not, you know, like at least they're putting out stuff, and at least looks like they're getting better with everything, right? Like Digimon Survive, right? I know I picked up the game. I've been playing it, and I've been liking it. It's not necessarily like, you know, my favorite type of game style, but I'm a huge fan of Digimon games, right? Yeah. So that was obviously just delayed with COVID. That's not what we're going to talk about here, but it's more the fact that they had a worldwide release. Yeah. You know, and I think. I can't remember if Japan got it at the same time as us. I know Pokemon, they released them all at the same time. Yeah. But I do think Bandai knows that there is a US market now. Yeah. Whereas there were Digimon games in the past that Bandai just forgot about the US, or they just knew, or they didn't think they could, you know, they didn't think how strong of a fan base Digimon has when it really does have a huge fan base. Yeah.
And paying attention to the card market for this long, like this card game is popular. It is lasting. I mean,
it's going to be here to stay, I think.
TCG Player finally put us on the map, put us on the front page where we don't have to go to other and then Digimon and then down and down and down. It's just lit right there on the front page. So it's like finally getting the love it deserves. And I think that they saw the consistency in the prices and the fact that people buy almost every card almost every day. Yep. Like it's just, these cards are flying out. So it's really cool to see that. I mean, and you're starting to see some of these cards just spike in value. Like we talked about the Machine Dramon due to that. I mean, you're looking at like the Lucemon Chaos modes are back up to $50. Those dropped for a little while because we're getting all the Fallen Angel support. So I can't remember. I mean, obviously the Magna Angemons, like talk about a card that was a sleeper. I mean, that card was like a $6 card.
Yeah. I got mine at the beginning, right?
Talk about stonks. I mean, shit, if you would have invested in, you know, 120 Magna Angemons, you know, you could have 10x your money back in, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's the fun part about this game too, is trying to figure out, like, some people play the market. Like we know a couple of people that like to play the market. Yeah. And they'll buy cards ahead of time. I know personally a couple people picking up a ton of Diaboromon stuff right now because we are overdue. We haven't seen any Diaboromon stuff since EX1.
Yep.
Maybe BT12. Maybe. But it's coming eventually. And the price on all this stuff has dropped so much. I mean, remember when those security or the promo Diaboromon were like $80?
Yes, for the level 3. Yeah. I mean, To be fair, the reason why I never paid that much for them.
No.
But I do have a couple play sets of those.
Yeah.
I picked them up because of the inheritable. It was great for black blockers. Opponent's turn plus 1k. You know, back when we didn't have as many in the promo Karamon.
Oh, you're talking about the not the Diaboromon, you're talking about the Karamon.
Yeah, the level
promo
3.
Karamon.
Yeah, the level 3, right? Even though, it came on that same event.
Oh,
pack,
yeah,
right?
no, it's great for
And
black blockers. It's
especially,
amazing. Yeah.
Back then we did not have nearly as many level 3s.
Yeah.
Like, like you had the Toy Agu that you would use, maybe that one and like a 2 cost.
Yeah.
Depending on whatever combination, especially way early on in the game. Now I think, you don't have to buy that for black blockers. You can use the new, it's a Toy Agumon. It's not the one on the starter deck. It is, I want to say BT 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's in double diamond. Yeah, I think
so. Yeah.
Diamond.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it says I think it's all turns too. If it has blocker, you get plus 1k. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's good alternatives. But
yeah.
So speaking of like the market watch and stuff, looking at this, what are you working on this week? You got any fun little projects, ideas? What are you thinking?
So I have updated my security Digimon
That's
list.
gonna be fun to see. It's fun.
It's fun. I like it. I did update it. It's got a little bit more Killia stuff. I'll post the deck profile probably within the next week or so. I might run it at one more local.
Okay.
But then I also have the green, my green Omnimon deck.
Yep.
Which is in the can. It's edited and it is going up this week. So you'll be able to check that one out on the channel.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, I'm gonna look at my Machinedramon list again. I mean, I'm always updating that thing. I think I like it though. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it too much.
Yep.
We got a lot going on with CuveCon and some other stuff locally. So I got a lot of projects, a lot of unboxings. We just filmed Lost Origin today.
Yeah.
We opened a case of Lost Origin. We opened a collector's booster box case
for Magic
of the new Magic set.
Yeah.
So those are going to be going up on the channel. Like I am busy with this stuff.
Yeah.
I think I got a couple new decks that I like trying out with the security and the green Omnimon. And then, and I got to set up the infrastructure so we can do this next week while you're in California.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I am out for 3 weeks. I'm traveling, but don't worry, we're not going to be interrupted. We're still going to have our segment. We're going to be recording this and dropping it weekly. And we've been really rushing to get some great deck profiles recorded so we can start releasing those every couple of days. But I am working on a fun deck this week. Oh. I have finally had some free time, and I've been catching up on some shows. I've binge watching Digimon Ghost Game. And first of all, best Digimon anime, right? So far, it's really good, geared towards a better audience. I think Bandai's really starting to understand Digimon and really like capitalizing really well on it. I think so. I'm really into Gammamon right now.
Okay.
So I got a fun Gammamon list, and I know Gammamon gets better next set. I know the level 5 comes out. I know we get the green and the purple in different Gammamons. I don't want to spoil anything for the show for those who haven't watched, but I have a deck list that I have playing with the blue BT3 Leopardmon.
Oh,
Leopardmon, when he digivolves, does not specify what what color level 4 comes out from a stack.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
So you can go from a red base Gammamon to the blue Kaus Gammamon, the unblockable.
And that gives every level 4 lower jamming?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Gammamon, what do you swing with? Right now, you're swinging with those 4s. So I got that list, and we'll be posting that here shortly. I've been having a lot of fun with that one, and I'm going to be exploring California locals.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear what the meta's like down there.
Yeah, and I'm really debating on what I'm going to play. I'm thinking about it, and I really enjoy playing my multicolor Gao deck.
Interesting. That's what you're going to take down there?
That's what I'm going to take.
Last time you went down there, though, it was all meta.
Last time I went down there, it was super meta. So last time I was down there for an extended period of time where I actually had time to, mess in other regions' locals, it was a lot of security control, green, yellow, rookie rush, and Lord Knight, like at the peak 5 or peak BT5 meta, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, because I think that Gao deck is disruptive enough, right? And we'll have that deck list profile soon. It's really interesting way I built the Gao deck to where I can turbo into Gao. I have strong level 5s. I have good use of the Death X, the 3 Iron Fist and Onslaught to really disrupt plays. I just think it's got a good toolbox for a lot of anti-meta stuff. But I will be bringing a bunch of decks, and we will, if I end up changing my mind, I'll let you guys know, and I'll be sure to give you the scouting reports down there.
Yeah, so we'll be all set up to do this remotely. I mean, I'll be here in the studio, and I'll be able to do this with you over Discord, so it'll be fun. And yeah, we're gonna get this rolling. And I think that's all we have for today, right? Good first episode.
Great.
If there's any feedback from you guys, anything that you want to see us talk about, or anything, or hear us talk about, feel free to drop it in the comments. This is just kind of like us messing around. If you like this, you like it. If you don't, tell us what you want to see. We're gonna update this, and we're just gonna keep getting better at it. So we'll see y'all next week. In the meantime, we are unloading a ton of content this week on the channel, Digimon and non-Digimon. We're just gonna try and just blow this channel up with as much awesome premium content as we can for you to enjoy. So feel free to check it out, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.